Good evening, everybody, and happy Monday. Welcome back to another fun week on the Basement Show with Mr. Ness. I am Mr. Ness. My name tonight is.
Ron, what's happening, everybody?
Hope everyone had a good weekend. I had an eventful one, but we're here, we're live, we got some sports to discuss today.
4-0. That's all that counts.
Yeah. Evening, Katie. Nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. 4
How you
0 is
doing, Katie?
good. 4 0 is good, but I would say we have a lot of work to do.
Well, I mean, honestly, it was probably Jalen's best passing performance so far.
By far. I would
I
agree with
think
that.
that he's kind of quelled all the chatter about, oh, well, he's regressing, et cetera, et cetera. I just, did the defense maybe not go as hard as they could have gone? Yeah, I think that was part of it.
That is
Um,
true.
but you know, it, the thing that I don't get is the last 2 weeks we've pretty much had our way with our opponent, and we did that by running the football. And going into the third quarter yesterday, we had all of about 27 yards rushing.
Wow.
So, it's great. It got the passing game going a little bit, but, you've shown that teams can't stop you when you run that football with DeAndre Swift. Why are we forcing it in the air when we should be establishing that run first and then opening up that passing game rather than vice versa? And then when it came time when we could have just run it and run out the clock, we're still throwing the darn football. Run the dang ball, Bert.
Yeah, I mean, all
To
very
quote,
excellent.
to quote a famous movie,
Yeah,
run the
all very
ball.
good point. Yeah,
We could have been out of that game and not had to go to overtime. We could have lost that game if they had went for two at the
yeah,
end of the game. When Washington ran down the field after a stupid taunting call on AJ. That cost us 15 yards, and it would have cost us the game if Ron Rivera was smart enough to go for two at the end of the game.
that is true. Are you kind of surprised he didn't?
Yes, I'm shocked.
Okay.
I was waiting for him to come in, to watch him trotting out on the field. I thought for sure they were going for two, and it was going to be the end of the game. I was pleasantly surprised when they kicked it. But I also know that we don't win a lot of coin tosses.
No?
So, we give up the ball. Tails never fails. So we give up the ball, and they don't score. But if they had of, we were screwed anyway.
Yeah.
So
All very
there
excellent.
were
I
just,
love it.
to me, that's on Sirianni. I mean, he should have had the wherewithal to just, you got 2nd and 4, and you got a minute 6 on the clock, or a minute 24. I'm sorry. There's a minute 24 on the clock. Washington still has one timeout, only one. You run that ball on 3rd down on 2nd and 4. They have to burn their last timeout. And now, say they get a couple yards, you're close enough to do the brotherly shove. You get the 1st down, take a knee, the game's over. You got a chip shot for Jake Elliott.
Yeah, that is true.
But they went and scored a touchdown and left over a minute and a timeout for Washington to come down the field, and they were 15 yards closer because of the penalty on the taunting. So they started on like the 36.
Yeah. No, you're spot on with everything you're saying. You're taking words out of my mouth. I love it because you're right. You have a bonehead stupid penalty, but they even said Sirianni was drawing them. Like when your coach is getting involved in talking like that, it's not a good sign neither, and it's not a good showing.
Right. That's
Yeah,
true. But I mean, I like that he has passion. I dig that. That's okay.
yeah.
Okay. But not to the detriment of the team. Not to the point where a penalty is going to cost you a game. Because quite frankly, it should have cost us this game.
Any other team would have.
Because a smarter coach, or a coach that is used to winning instead of used to losing, would have went for two there.
Yeah. No, I mean you're spot on. You're right. And
So
then you figure DeAndre Swift the last 2 weeks has had almost 300 yards rushing. Like, why get away from that?
yeah, and then you just decide, oh well, no, we're good. We're just going to throw it 50 times.
Yeah, same thing happened last year. They would get Miles Sanders going in a couple games, and it's like, where'd Miles go?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's what it is. I mean, you gotta take the win for what it is, but they have a lot to clean up.
We're Philadelphia, man. We're not happy even if they're 4-0. There's still a lot of people out there second guessing decisions.
That is true.
Because that's just who we are.
Yeah, and we'll always be that way. That's the sad part.
Yeah. It's not changing.
Yeah, I mean, and the schedule only gets harder. I mean, we got the Rams coming up in LA, who have been playing damn good football. Then you got the Jets, who gave the Chiefs a run for the money. I see Katie saying her team's 3-1. She's a Chiefs fan. Katie, your
Yeah.
Chiefs got lucky last night.
Well, they had a little help.
They did, absolutely.
They had a little help from the guys in the striped shirt.
Oh yeah, big time.
Because it was very, very clear to me that something was funky in that game for a couple reasons. Number one, and I'm not this conspiracy theory guy either. Anytime everybody says, oh, well, it's rigged. No, it's not rigged. But if you wanted to make a case for it, last night might have been the case because there was a phantom call on a pass interference that was thrown from the opposite side of the field, well off the ball and well after the actual contact happened.
That's never good.
When a ball was intercepted, and then magically there's a flag on the field.
Yeah, I mean,
you look at something like that. You look at the fact that Mahomes is on his way into the end zone and all of a sudden decides to take a knee at the 2-yard line, and then the Chiefs don't cover the spread. When 95% of the bets in Vegas were on the Chiefs.
Yeah,
95%.
I did read something about that this morning, and a lot of people didn't seem too happy.
And he takes a knee. It was like what Westbrook did years ago in that game in the playoffs.
Yeah, the Dallas game.
In that Dallas game, where he's got nobody near him, and he takes a knee at the 1-yard line.
Yeah,
cost me a fantasy championship. That did. So I remember that play forever.
Got King Uno on YouTube. And then Katie saying we did, but Mahomes threw 2 picks. I don't know if you all watched it, but what was that call at the end about? Katie wants to know what the call was about at the end.
Which call?
Maybe that defensive holding call that they.
You're talking about the holding call. Yeah. I mean, that was, like I said, that was mysterious because that flag didn't fly until after it was intercepted. So, and it was supposedly on contact that was made before the ball was thrown. And it was thrown from the opposite side of the field. So you put 2 and 2 together and you figure it out. But
yeah, it sounds like the Super Bowl all over again, if you ask me.
I mean, it was a classic example of Mahomes having a not so great night. He couldn't get the ball to Kelsey. Kelsey only had 6 catches. They were getting a pretty decent push up the middle, and Zach Wilson decided he was going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, about time.
I mean, he's making back shoulder throws left and right. It's like, who's this guy? I mean, this guy is, sucked wind for 3 weeks, and all of a sudden he's Brett Favre, and he's unstoppable.
Well, maybe that's what the Jets need. They need him to get his head out of his ass.
Well, apparently that was the first game that Rodgers was in the building since he got hurt. So Rodgers spoke to the team before the game.
Huh?
So now he wasn't on the sideline. He had his feet propped up in the skybox texting, but hey, he was there at least. I mean,
He was there.
it didn't really look like he was very vested in the game. It's not like he was on the sideline with a headset on, listening to the plays and giving his input.
Hey.
He's playing words with friends up in the or Wordle up in the box.
He's texting Taylor Swift and all her friends.
Yeah, saying how you doing. Yeah, because Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were there too. So,
oh Jesus.
Well, there's a rumor that Taylor is making a cameo in the Deadpool movie. So Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and Blake Lively were at the game.
Interesting.
So to that, what you will.
I'll pass on that one. Gary's in the chat. Hello, sports fan. It's good. And then Katie says the unsportsmanlike conduct on the Jets coach.
Yeah, well, he was complaining about what happened, with that flag, and he wasn't giving it up. I mean, and he was right. I mean, it was a bullshit call from a ref that wasn't even involved in the play, and he was just, going on and on about it. Yeah. And rightfully so.
I mean, it makes you think, since the players always get suspended for gambling, or the referees betting on games?
Good question.
Just saying.
But I'm I know that in basketball they caught one time.
They did, you're right.
No, I don't think they've ever caught an NFL ref.
Yet.
But then again, it's never been as big of a business as it is now.
Oh,
and it hasn't been as easy to do it undetected. Where you can have a proxy, you can have a friend or somebody else placing the bets for you.
Yeah, so it's not your name, but you're the one making a bet.
Right. Because anybody with a cell phone can make a bet now.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Tap over here. I can make a bet right now on a game that's going on right now.
Right.
So who says they're not going in at halftime doing the same thing?
Yeah. I mean, you never know. And like I said, I'm not the conspiracy theory guy. I'm not the guy who just automatically thinks that it's fixed. But, when some of this stuff happens, people scratch their heads.
Yeah, like some of those calls on the Eagles yesterday. Some of them were deserved, I will say that, but there were some really questionable ones as well. I mean, I haven't been able to really sit and watch the whole game yet because I have an uncontrollable dog. I have it on my DVR, but I just heard some of the calls were kind of bullshit. Pardon my French, but they were bullshit calls. Then you had some good ones.
They couldn't have the Chiefs have 2 losses in the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, well,
because Mahomes is one of the faces of the NFL, and he can't be on a team that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Fred, of course, his mouth himself. I mean, agree. Because there's all this talk now the last 4 or 5 years. I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, but saying that the Dallas Cowboys might not be America's team anymore. So now they're trying to find that new identity on what team is going to be the face of the NFL. Kansas City makes a good choice. Philadelphia, You still got Dallas, of course, San Francisco, what they do. I mean, they're trying to find that one dominant team that they can say, okay, this is the class organization of the NFL. So
You're right.
long
I mean,
live the Bees.
I
So.
can't argue with that at all.
I mean,
And honestly, they're, you see the Dolphins go down in flames, after putting up a 70 spot the week before and then come out flat. I mean, any given week, I mean, it's a league of parity. I mean, there's only 2 undefeated teams left.
Yeah, less than the Niners.
And in a few weeks, they're coming up against each other. So,
yeah, I mean,
probably not for the only time.
No, that's very, very true.
Probably going to see them twice.
No, you're absolutely right. And honestly, whoever wins the head-to-head matchup, if they both make it that far, are going to have home field advantage. Now, could that hurt Philly?
If they end up with the same record.
Yes. If they end up you're right. I'm sorry.
So the record is first, and then second would be head-to-head.
So, I mean, Eagles' schedule doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams have been playing pretty good ball. And there's a chance that Cooper Kupp's playing this week.
Yeah.
He's supposed to practice this week, so we shall see. But that may cut into Puka Nacua a little bit, who's been tearing it up in his absence, which was a great find by them.
Yeah. And same with Atwell, too.
Yeah, and Atwell, too, yeah. But, it'll be curious to see how that shakes out.
Because when we were doing our preseason picks, this was your trap game coming up.
Yep.
Going out west to LA.
Yep. Definitely, this is one to be careful of.
And then, if you have Zach Wilson playing like Aaron Rodgers, that Jets game could be a trap game too.
Yeah, I mean, if he's able to sustain it, like I don't know if it was a one-shot deal, or if if he's actually for real. I mean, he certainly gave the rest of the team a lot of confidence last night.
Yeah,
you could see that because everybody was all fired up, and they were playing good on both sides of the ball.
Did you know Aaron Rodgers has a house in Jersey? He does. He paid
it's called
$9.5
It's called MetLife Stadium.
Well, that and he bought a $9.5 million house. So,
yeah. Well, I got a feeling as soon as his Jets career's over, he's back out of that house.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think he's making his permanent home in New Jersey.
I hope not.
So we shall see.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll keep him comfortable while he's here.
Very true. I mean, we're just looking at the schedule. Like, you have to build momentum with a good dominant Rams win or a good dominant Jets win. Because the following week, you had the Miami Dolphins coming in. Yes, they were exposed, but their passing game has a potential to light this defense up, like everybody else has this view.
You're not wrong. Well, we got out of the game with 2 injuries, apparently.
Yes.
Cam Jurgens has a calf or a foot. It was a leg injury.
They said
I think it might have been a foot.
Foot sprain.
Sprained foot. So he'll miss a couple weeks, but he's not going on the injured list.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Covey's in concussion protocol.
Exactly right. I'm looking at it right here. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yep.
I mean, hopefully we get either Sidney Brown or Justin Evans back soon. Because they were missed.
Terrell Edmonds is not the guy.
No, but in his defense, okay, the one play I did see when they called unnecessary roughness when the guy was coming over the middle, made the catch. That was not a late hit,
Didn't seem like.
and it was just like he hit him huge. He even hit his helmet.
And Joby is hit or miss. I mean, he made some good plays, and he made a couple bonehead plays too, which
Joey's
for a
been
young guy
exposed.
you expect, you know.
Yep.
Because McLaren can make a lot of guys look bad.
That is true. That is very, very true. I mean, look at the box real quick. Joby winded up with 2 tackles and 1 pass breakup.
Yeah. And McLaren had he's an eagle killer. He's another one of those guys that it seems like every time we play him, he lights us up.
Yeah, I mean, that's when he had 8 catches for 86 yards, so they kept him under 100.
But they were in key spots, though. That's the thing. When they needed a tight, a big spot, that's who they were going to.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you let Sam Allen through 300 yards on you is alarming.
Yeah.
I mean, they did sack him 5 times. I give defense credit on that, but you almost gave up 300 yards passing.
Yeah.
29 to 41. So that's damn near 70% completion percentage, too.
And the 5's deceiving because 3 of them were late in the game.
Yeah. I mean, nice to see Hassan Reddick finally woke the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, these guys in the middle are creating opportunities for Reddick and for Josh Sweat, who also had one.
Yeah. Well, Morrow had 3 by himself. I mean,
yeah, Morrow was playing a great game. He looked really good.
And Cunningham
linebacker play was good this week,
except for one play.
Yeah.
The first Washington touchdown, when they ran that jet sweep, you're supposed to go with the wide receiver in motion.
Yeah.
Bradbury let him go, and the linebackers didn't adjust. Walked right in.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's early in the game. Give them a pass. They redeemed themselves, but that's alarming to know that you don't know what your coverage is.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
No, I mean.
So, but overall, the main thing is the main thing, as I heard on the radio. If a win is a win. Jalen answered some concerns. I'm still concerned that they're not involving Dallas Goedert enough, who's been, superficial at best in the first 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, he had 2 catches yesterday for 25 yards.
And he had like 4 the game before, I think.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
his
stats so far this year, 13 receptions for 88 yards.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You're talking about one of the top 5 tight ends in the league. Now, great, he can block, great. Totally for that. But, you got to get him involved in this offense.
Yeah.
You're so worried about feeding AJ. Again for Devontae disappears. They can't seem to like split throws between 2 guys. They gotta focus on one guy every week.
It's true.
Hi, Amber.
Hey, I Amber. Hey, you guys. But no, you definitely have to get Goddard going. Like AJ and Devontae are always going to put up numbers for you, sure. But if you're going to get to a team that takes them both away, what is it? Odamas been?
Zacchaeus.
Like these slot receivers need to step up.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I'm not going to badmouth the win, but this team has a lot of work to do.
Well, the Rams will be a good measuring stick because they're playing as good, if not better, than the 3 teams that we faced so far.
It's very, very true. I mean, they
And
won.
Matthew Stafford is having a pretty good year so far.
Yeah. I
Even
mean
with missing Cooper Cup.
that is true. I
If he has
mean,
Cup back this week, they're going to be extremely dangerous.
yeah, because they had a walk-off win last year in Indianapolis, and Stafford was 27 of 40 for 319 and a touchdown, one interception.
Yep.
And then the rookie running back, Karen Williams, put up 100 yards yesterday.
Yeah, he had 3 touchdowns.
So, I mean, they have a good, scary offense.
Yeah.
It's like, if you say they get Cooper Cup back this week, you have Cup, Puka. They still have a really underrated tight end, Tyler Higbee. Van Jefferson adds some speed on the outside.
Right.
Tutu Atwell
Atwell.
is another slot receiver. That's
Yep.
five weapons that you got.
And 5 weapons and a questionable secondary. That's not a recipe for success.
That is true. Kelsey's in about it. I was talking about you the other night, Kelsey. We were looking for you on Friday night. You missed it.
Hi, Kels.
I even tagged you in the comment. You didn't even respond to it. But we'll see.
Yep.
I mean, were there any games other than the Eagles yesterday that kind of shocked you? Because I have a couple.
Well, I mean, hang on. Let me bring the list up real quick.
Just wanted to pop in and say hi. And also, Broncos finally won. They had to come from behind to win that game, Kels. I mean, wasn't an easy win, but hey, a win's a win.
That's right.
Congratulations to you, Broncos. 31-28.
So Thursday night with the Lions, taking the Packers out. I mean, I was thinking the Packers had turned the corner, but the Lions pretty much dominated the game. Nice to see Jacksonville get back on versus the Falcons from London, because the Jags are there for 2 weeks. They have another London game this week.
Yeah, it was Buffalo, which is going to be a really tough game for them.
Yeah, but they're pretty much home games for Jacksonville because that's where they're moving to eventually. Yeah, the Rams pulling it out in OT versus the Colts. But the Colts, I'll tell you, you got to give the Colts some credit. I mean, Steichen looks like he's got something going on there, and now he's got Richardson back.
Yeah, who had I think he played pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, under 50% completion percentage, but 2 touchdowns on throwing the ball and another 56 yards rushing for the touchdown. So
I was kind of shocked that the Browns got rocked by the Ravens.
That was one of my shockers, yes.
Cleveland's been playing some real good ball, and they just didn't show up.
I mean, granted, it looks like Watson didn't play.
No, he didn't.
But Dwayne Thompson-Robinson looked really good in the preseason. And then I looked lost. I mean, looking at this now, 19-36 for 121 yards and 3 interceptions.
Yeah, so, yeah. I forgot about Watson not being in the game, so it makes a little more sense. I think we learned that the Panthers are frauds.
Yeah. I mean, Minnesota didn't have it easy, though.
No. But now Sanders is banged up, too, so. What a shock.
Yeah.
The Bengals, I give up. I mean, I just don't get how, if he's that hurt, if Burrow is that hurt, then why are you continuing to trot him out there?
Agreed.
I mean, you got to cut your losses. If you're going to, go out there and embarrass yourself every week, then cut your losses and sit them down. Let them heal. Because, those of us that have Burrow and Jamar Chase
There you go.
in fantasy football are not enjoying the season.
I wouldn't either. I mean, I had Jamar Chase in my cash league. You have what, 7.3 points out of him? Like,
Yeah, that's just been a nightmare.
I get your frustration on that, but
And to Tennessee, for God's sakes.
I mean, yeah, Derrick Henry did have a decent game, backed over 100 yards rushing, plus threw a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
Thinking that they were going to get their ass kicked, I left Derrick Henry on my bench.
Yeah.
Well,
because Henry's been slipping. I mean, let's be honest. He's up and down. He's more down than up. But he had a game this past week.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay coming back and rocking the Saints. Not so much of a shock there.
Well, I was kind of surprised to see Derek Carr actually play this game.
Yeah, I was too. I thought for sure it was going to be a Jameis Winston game.
Maybe it should have. Carr only had 127 yards passing.
Yeah.
That just tells you that range of motion in the shoulder wasn't there.
I mean, if you're going to do that, let Taysom Hill go back there.
That's true.
At least he'll run for something.
Yeah.
The Dolphins give up 48-20. Josh Allen continues his rebound tour. And we still have to face him in a few weeks.
That's what I mean. You better get your shit together. Better start this week because you got LA, the Jets, and then you come home versus Miami, who could easily put up a lot of points. Then you got Dallas.
Yep.
But before we talk about Dallas, how about the Houston Texans kicking the shit out of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah. I mean, the Steelers look like they're just mailing it in. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I had high hopes for the Steelers. It looked like in the beginning of the year their defense was going to be decent. Pickett was showing signs. Their running game is non-existent. Najee Harris is washed. And they got Warren, the backup, who has been okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're not running the ball that much because they're playing from behind all the time. They can't really establish the running game, and that's that team's identity. If they can't run the ball, then they're not going to win. Because if you're gonna throw all your chips in Kelly Pickett's arm, I don't think you're going to have much success.
No, you're not wrong.
Because your wide receiver core is not that great.
True. But they made C.J. Stroud look like God. 16-30, 360 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Well, that's a couple weeks in a row now. Stroud has had pretty decent numbers. So don't sleep on Stroud. I think in a year or two, he may be somebody to be reckoned with. After he moves on from Houston and goes to a real team.
Yeah. I mean, it would be a first because Ohio State quarterbacks don't normally pan out that well.
No.
And my dummy ass had Nico Collins in my cash league on my bench. 38.5 points.
Yeah.
But like just reading this box score for the Pittsburgh game real quick. Like, where were his wide receivers? George Pickens, three receptions, 25 yards. Allen Robinson, 1 catch, 8 yards. Pat Fairmouth, 3 receptions, 7 yards.
Yeah, because they're trying to run the ball.
Like, Najee Harris who had the most receiving yards, had 1 catch for 32 yards. That was Pittsburgh's leading receiver on Sunday.
Yep.
Wow.
Their offense is horrible right now.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
I think that may be 3 weeks out of 4 they scored single digits.
Might be right. I can tell you 1 second. Hold on. Okay, 1 second. Schedule. So week 1 they lost 30-7. Week 2 they won 26-22, but they had 2 defensive touchdowns. That's 12 points. Last week they won 23-18, and then this week they lost 30-6.
Yeah, so 2. I thought it might have been 3. But even for them to be 2-2, based on how they've been playing, is pretty astounding.
Yeah, not lying.
But the Niners are the scary team right now. I mean, they just look like they're hitting on all cylinders. McCaffrey is healthy, and he's just running wild.
That's true. Evening, Gina. Nice to see you.
And hey, Gina. And Brock Purdy still hasn't lost a regular season game.
True. And you want to know the amazing thing about Brock Purdy on Sunday? 20 of 21.
Wow.
1 incomplete pass the whole game.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a classic example of them putting him in position to be successful. They're not going down the field a lot. I mean, a lot of it is yards after catch. And I mean, when you have McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, you're going to get yards after the catch. There's no 2 ways about it. So you can throw him intermediate passes and just, feast on these defenses. And that's exactly what they're going to try and do to us as well. They're not going to push the ball down the field. They're going to dink and dunk you. And unfortunately, has continued to be an issue for us because of our linebacker core that, although they played well against the run, they're not exactly known for their pass protection.
That's right. But I'm looking at this here. Unless Deebo Samuel got hurt, he only had 3 rushes for 6 yards. He had no catches on Sunday.
Okay.
The leading receiver actually was Brandon Ayuk, 6 catches for 148 yards.
Okay.
And then
so that's over 20 yards. That's over 20 yards a catch.
24.7.
So they were pushing it down the field a little bit.
Well, that and McCaffrey had 20 carries for 106 yards and 3 rushes.
McCaffrey's just, when he's healthy, he's hard to stop.
Yeah.
He just is. But inevitably, at some point, he's going to get banged up.
Well, hopefully it's before they face us.
And then they'll have something else to whine about. Oh, we would have beat you if McCaffrey didn't get hurt.
Yep. Oh, right. The biggest shock, I gotta say, is the dismantle of the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
38-3 to the Dallas Cowboys. That just hurts to say.
Didn't Mac Jones get banged up too?
Banged up and benched.
Yeah.
I mean, but still. It's not, Dallas is probably happy to get back in the winning side of things after the embarrassing loss versus Arizona last week. I will say that.
Yeah.
Patriots didn't put up a fight.
Yeah. And, they were so concerned during the week of Zeke stealing their hand signals and stuff.
I mean, you might not be wrong. That's the truth. But, Zeke was non-existent on Sunday. 6 carries for 16 yards.
Yeah. Because you can't run the ball when you're down 25 points.
Yeah.
So.
I hate to say it, but Dallas is going to be Dallas. I mean, they're pretty hyped up and think, oh, this is all you. And come December, they're going to crumble. I hope.
Which they normally do. So we'll see what happens. They still have to play the Dolphins and the Bills, and yeah. So
Well, they got a short week. Well, no, I'm wrong. They got a tough one that's coming Sunday night. We'll talk about a game of the week. 49ers at Dallas at San Francisco.
Right. Which could potentially be their second loss.
Yeah, I mean the way San Fran's playing, yeah, probably. I hope so.
And when we beat the Rams and then have a 2-game lead in the division, that's a pretty healthy place to be. With only, then you worry less about what Dallas is doing and more about what San Francisco is doing.
Spot on. I couldn't agree more.
I think that most of us as fans, I think, have that Niners games, circled a little darker than the Dallas game.
Yeah. I mean, and that or the Kansas City game because it's a rematch for the Super Bowl, but
yeah, true. But I mean, also, by the time Kansas City gets to us, they already have at least 2 losses.
That is true.
Maybe more.
Yeah. Well, we go to, I think we go after Kansas City.
Yeah, we do.
And that's a Monday night game, so.
Hey, but at least get some good barbecue, though.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely looked at tickets. I won't lie. Just take a long extended drive out there, but it was out of my price range. I think that game's going for about $300-$400.
I'm sure.
Just like all the games are this year, it's freaking ridiculous.
So I saw a report today that listed the 5 most expensive ticket prices in the league.
Okay.
And although I don't remember all 5, I do remember what was number 1 because it blew me away. What team do you think is the most expensive ticket regular season
Resale?
on average?
Well, I know Phillies towards the top.
Philly is not in the top 5.
Wow. Okay. San Francisco?
No. Anybody in the chat got a guess? And don't Google it. Gina says Memphis barbecue is the only barbecue. And that's near her way, so I get it.
You got me stumped.
Okay. At an average ticket price of $501, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Wow.
$500 average.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
But it's a city. And I mean, it comes with the territory, though.
Yeah. I think they factor the seat license in with that, too. Because I don't think they have face value. Their average is over 500. I think that because it's all season tickets, they factor in the seat licenses in that price.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that you're saying that you're reading the article. I can see that, and they have to pay for that. See, yeah, I mean, that stadium wasn't cheap in Vegas neither. Gina's right about that.
Yep.
But I had read a story that right before we actually started, Green Bay sent out a notice to their season ticket holders.
Yeah.
Because they were complaining, because I don't know if you saw Thursday night's game or not, but that whole one sideline was all Detroit fans.
Yep.
So they said, we understand you can't make every game, but try selling your tickets to a Packers fan and not a rivals team, because Lambeau is supposed to be all home field, not theirs.
And Lambeau has a waiting list of, years and years.
Yeah.
For Packers. Actually, Green Bay, the fans actually own the team.
That is true.
They are the shareholders that own the team.
Okay,
So they only have themselves to blame.
that is true. Let's see. Yeah, the absolute longest is that season tickets at Lambeau Field for the Green Bay Packers. Only season tickets are available, and there are over 130,000 people on the waiting list.
Yep.
The estimate wait is 30 years.
Yep.
The Broncos, Patriots, Saints, Giants, and Seahawks also have lengthy waiting lists.
Eagles have a waiting list too, but it's not quite that long.
I have a list right here. I can probably pull it up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. Put up. It just says yes for a waiting list, and there is approximately 86,000 people on that list.
Yep.
How would you know if you were selling them to fans? If you sell them on like StubHub, you won't know exactly. I mean, that is an excellent point. When you put tickets on a third market resale site, you don't know who you're selling your tickets to.
Well, but here's the problem with that, and we talked about this a week or two ago, John. If somebody who's sitting in your seats that you sold causes a problem, they get in a fight or something along that line, you are at risk of losing your season tickets.
Yep.
Whether it was actually you in the seat or not.
Absolutely.
So that is the risk that you give when you sell your tickets to a stranger. A lot of people sell them to friends, but if you're going to sell on StubHub to a stranger, you're running the risk of losing your tickets.
No, absolutely right.
So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's approximately, according to this list, only 9 teams that have an extended wait list. But like, there's some teams that haven't listed it.
mm-hmm.
But like Minnesota Vikings have a 1-year wait list. Tennessee has 2. The Houston Texans have 4. Chicago Bears 15. Patriots 15. Ravens 20. And then you have the Broncos, Packers, and Seahawks all at 30-year waiting list.
Yep.
I don't know if I could do it. Like they say that people that were born in Green Bay, the second they have that kid's social security number, they're down in their
Put them
office.
on the wait list.
Yep.
Put them on the wait list.
Yeah. That's just baffling. I mean, still, by the time you're like 30, 35 years old, you're finally going to get a Packers ticket. Your parents, not trying to call people old, probably would never see a game as a season ticket holder. Because by the time you get them, they most likely won't be there.
True.
And then you get more of the people that take their parents' remains and ashes and dump it on the field.
Yeah.
You start seeing that more and more. I think in the past 5-6 years, I've heard about that like 6 or 7 times in Philly alone.
Yeah.
So
you know where that's a big problem, and they actually actively defend against it?
Mm-hmm.
The Haunted Mansion at Walt Disney World. People try and drop ashes in.
Interesting.
Per people's request.
Huh.
And they actually have an active program to prevent that from happening.
Jeez.
Otherwise, it would be the dustiest place on earth.
Yeah. No, you're not lying. I mean, that is true.
You know? So, what do you got?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Okay, sports show. So I have to bring it up if you didn't already. Heard on the radio down here about someone getting turned away from a Phillies game for an emotional support animal he tried to bring in.
Yes, that is correct. And it was 100%. An alligator. It was an emotional support alligator on a leash.
Bizarre.
So, what do you think of that?
I'm actually gonna pull up the story. So, it made national news.
I don't know. I don't know if it's true. I think it's a crock.
Wally Gator.
Wally Gator. Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah,
even
it
made
was,
news in Tampa Bay.
it was pretty funny.
Like the guy said, he was suffering from severe depression. So he would sleep on the couch, and he would wake up, and the alligator would be resting on his head.
Oh man, it takes all kinds. That's all I got to say.
Oh, hey,
Yes, you can tell by the snout. That is correct.
I think I
It
got
makes
a
the
news
joke
story.
less funny when you explain it.
Here we go.
Too funny. I'm already messing with you, Gina.
Wildcard berth, all that champagne, but now it's time to get serious. The Phillies continued to end the season strong with yet another exciting win over the Pirates.
Fans can keep the team spirit soaring by stocking up on more merch and registering to enter the raffle for playoff tickets. Action News reporter Corey Davis is live at the ballpark with more on how fans are gearing up for next week's playoff games. Hey, Corey.
Hey, Matt and Sam, good morning. And we know this could be a wild time. The playoffs is exciting for fans. You know, the tickets are already sold out for the wild card games next week. And fans are already, even before that happens, bringing in unusual guests. Take a look here. A guest you would expect to see in Florida, but right here in Philly, Wally the alligator, his owner, is going viral after trying to bring the alligator into the game last night. Its owner says Wally is an emotional support alligator. Pets are allowed into some games at the stadium, but Wally was, of course, not. His owner says they were invited and plans to reschedule. So not to be overshadowed, the game the night before, when the Phillies clinched the playoffs, the team welcomed the 3 millionth fan to attend the game at Citizens Bank Park this season. It's now happened 7 years in a row.
Okay.
Who was then promptly eaten by the alligator.
But still, like,
Okay, 3 millionth and one. Come on up.
I just don't understand how you can think an alligator can be an emotional support.
Who knows?
It just baffles me. But yes, it is good news to know the Phillies are in the playoffs. But like I was telling you before the show, I am worried.
Yeah.
And please,
I mean, I definitely would have preferred it not to be the Marlins.
Yeah.
But in a short series, you know, the problem is anything can happen. Now, as long as we get a decent effort out of Wheeler and Nola, then I think we'll be more than fine.
Yeah. Because I think Will's pitching game 1, Nola will be game 2.
Correct. And they'll announce game 3 once they see how 1 and 2 goes. Because if they have to use Ranger extensively in 1 or 2, then it could be Christopher Sanchez starting number 3.
Gotcha.
Or it could be Ranger. Or it could be, I don't think it's going to be Taijuan Walker.
He's been getting shelled the last couple of outings.
Yeah, so I don't see. And unfortunately, I'm concerned that it may be a possibility that with Wilson back, that my boy might be left off this first roster.
What, Mr.
Mr. Cave,
Yeah.
who's struggling mightily at the plate right now, who's about 4 for his last 28.
That's not good.
So
It'll be interesting. I'm just looking at this now. Damn, they wind up winning the division, Houston, by a tiebreaker? Come on.
Houston did?
Yep. They had the same identical record as the Texas Rangers, I guess, because of head-to-head or something. They won the tiebreaker.
No.
But they went 39-42 in Houston.
Wow. Okay. Well, that bodes well for, if anybody has to travel there. But if they just barely eked out their division, they're probably not looking at home field.
No, not unless they run the table and the other two top teams lose.
Yeah.
There's your Wildcard Tuesday, which starts tomorrow.
Yes.
You have the Marlins and Phillies at 8 o'clock. Texas going to Tampa Bay at 3 o'clock. Toronto going to Minnesota. And Arizona going to Milwaukee.
Okay.
Definitely interesting, that's for sure.
So let's go through those 4 series and what do you think? Get us one at a time. We'll do the Phillies last.
All right, we'll start with the Texas Rangers and Tampa Bay. That one's a tough one.
That's a tough one. I'm going to lean towards Tampa Bay because of the past experience.
Yeah. No,
and I know Texas might have been a little bit better during the regular season, and they're playing a little bit better down the stretch. But I think Tampa Bay knows the formula to win, and I kind of lean towards Tampa Bay.
Sure. And I will agree with you. And I also will say this. Texas had a losing record on the road. They were 40-41. So granted, they were only one game under 500 on the road. But then on the other side of the coin, Tampa Bay was 53-28 at home.
Okay.
So that home stadium for Tampa Bay, where it's not always sold out, and a lot of away fans get there, it's very quickie. But Tampa Bay always seems to know how to get around that.
Right.
Like a lot of the mysterious catwalks and stuff in the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean,
you hear any trash cans? Oh no, that's Houston. Sorry.
I mean, considering tickets were only $24 to get into it for a playoff game.
Yeah.
But in a short 3-game series, I would have to agree. I think Tampa Bay has a slight advantage.
But it's going to be a good series, though.
Oh, I definitely goes 3 games.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
I just think Tampa Bay, they win tomorrow, might lose Wednesday, but then they rebound Thursday and pull it out.
Okay.
Then you have the Toronto Blue Jays going to the Minnesota Twins.
I go Toronto.
And I would too, because Toronto's offense is electric.
Yeah, they're hitting the ball well, I think, and their pitching might be a tad better, especially in the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much what you need. You need consistent hitting, strong pitching, and a good bullpen. And Toronto checks all 3 of those off easily.
Yep.
This series is over in 2 games.
Could be.
And to get a ticket for that one, you can buy tickets for $11.
$11 Canadian or $11 US?
US, because it's at Target Field.
Okay, there you go.
So far you have 20 tickets on resale for $24 for the Rays, $11 for Minnesota, and then the last one you have the Diamondbacks and the Milwaukee Brewers. In Milwaukee, and tickets for this one are as low as $12.
And Milwaukee destroys Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona, good run. I give them props for.
They hung in there. They hung in there all the way to the end, but they just don't stack up against the Brewers. The Brewers beat them, check them off in every category.
So a quick 2-game series from Milwaukee.
2 games, yes.
And then that leaves us with the last one, Miami Marlins versus the Philadelphia Phillies. And here's the fun part. These tickets are triple digits.
Yep.
Average resale, $175.
Yep. We take our baseball seriously. It's Red October, man.
Well, not just baseball, but like even Eagles resale tickets are out of control.
Yeah, but it's smaller. It's a smaller stadium. That's the thing. I
Yeah.
mean, if you look at some of these behemoths that still exist, that hold 63, 70,000 people, there were these multi-use stadiums at one point, and then you look at a place like Citizens Bank that, a sellout's around 48,000, I think, somewhere in that ballpark, low to mid 40s.
Less than that, I thought.
Where the old vet used to hold 63,000.
Yeah. Let's see. I pulled up in 1 second. They were after match. So they quit during this game. 7-6 versus Pirates. Give me 1 second. The night they won, clinched the playoffs. If I can find it, down here somewhere. There it is. So the capacity game at Citizens Bank Park is 42,901.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just actual seats.
Right, and they have standing room only also.
Yeah, so when you add standing room only for the playoffs, you're probably looking at, I'd say, probably 45, 46.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
If I'm just estimating.
Well, and then you count the fans in the luxury boxes and stuff too.
Yeah.
And the Diamond Club and all that stuff. Yeah.
So, I mean, place will be rocking no matter which way you look.
Yeah, it's Red October, man. It's Red October.
But we should win the series. We should, but it's gonna be a fight.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would have rather it been Arizona, but it could end up going all 3 games. But it all depends on, honestly, I think Zach Wheeler, absolutely, with the crowd and with Zach Wheeler on the mound, I don't think the game 1's in question.
True.
My biggest concern is game 2.
With Aaron Nola.
And now Nola's been good his last 3 starts. The question is, does he continue?
Yeah, and do the bats help him out?
And do the bats help him out? Yeah, I will give you that.
Because the crazy thing is, if you look, tomorrow night's supposed to be 72 at game time. Wednesday, 73. And then 72 again on Thursday. So
good baseball weather.
Yeah. So in a city like Philly, too, when you get that warm air, the ball travels.
True.
This is where you need your big bats to wake up.
Short bombs.
Short bombs, putt blast. You might even need a couple from JT. Or even a Trey Turner. And then you gotta be sound defense in the field as well.
True.
So my biggest question is, if they win this series, do they go to Atlanta next, or would they go to LA?
They go to Atlanta, I think.
Or would it depend on
if Atlanta and LA both win, then they go to Atlanta, I think.
Okay.
Because Atlanta will have the best. Is still the 1 seed.
All right, and then if we win, then the winner of the Diamondbacks and Brewers would probably go to the Dodgers.
Yes.
Who I didn't know had 100 wins this year too.
Yep, they sure did. But that's okay. Gabe Kapler got fired, so all's right in the world.
I would wait for you to bring that up.
He took his bottle of coconut oil and went home.
Yeah, you're pretty spot on with that. I mean, but there was a bit of sad news in baseball. I'm sure you read about it as well. Legendary Tim Wakefield passed away, I think, Saturday.
Right. Yep.
I mean, Boston Red Sox or not, he was a hell of a pitcher in his career.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's a legend.
The famed knuckleball.
Mm-hmm. Weren't too many of those guys that were hugely successful, but he was one. I mean, the two best knuckleballers I remember are Necro and him.
Oh, Phil Necro is nasty with his knuckleball.
Yeah.
That was it. I just saw it. I think I read he was only 57 too.
He wasn't old. He wasn't super old.
Which is a shame. Like 57, you're just getting done playing baseball probably about 20 years ago. You got your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah. And I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think so either.
I don't know if he even has the numbers to be considered, but you would think he's got to have a couple championships.
Football bounce back. Well, you wonder what did he win the World Series with Boston one or two
I thought
times?
he did. I thought he got at least one with Boston.
Yes, he definitely at least won. This picture shows him holding it. I think he went on the team when they won in 04.
Yeah.
And in 07, yeah. So
Yeah. So 2.
Yes.
So, here's the question.
Okay.
Well, we know Terry Francona also retired.
Yes.
Is Terry Francona a Hall of Famer?
Ooh. That's a tough one. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to pull up his managerial record.
By the way, before you say any of the numbers, I say yes.
Okay. Let's see. Wikipedia.
Or Tito, as he is affectionately named.
So as a manager, he's won 1,950 games and lost 1,672 with a 5.38 winning percentage.
Okay.
So he's a 2-time World Series champion, 3-time manager of the league, Golden Spike Award 1980. So he has a batting stats for a career.
So 2 World Series and 3 managers of the year.
Yes. Okay. So if we're looking at his player statistics, no way.
No, not as a player, as a manager.
Yeah, what I'm going to say. If you're going to put him in the Hall of Fame as a manager, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's how he would go in, not as a player. Because he was lousy as a player.
Yeah. Batting average 274, 16 career home runs, and career 143 RBIs.
Yeah. So
that won't cut it.
He was a utility guy mostly.
Yeah,
especially towards the end of his career.
I will say one thing. He liked the central part of the USA.
Yeah.
Played up in Montreal, which is central, but up in Canada. Spent a year with the Cubs. Went to the Reds for a year. The Indians for a year. And then finished in Milwaukee.
Yep.
All central time zone.
All right there. Yep.
That's pretty amazing when you see a player who's like career like that. It all winds up in the same region.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is weird. Maybe I'm just nuts. I don't know. Maybe both.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know he was 64.
Yep.
Wow. Damn. So he was a manager and a coach. So he. Okay, that makes sense. So he must have been an assistant coach with Texas and Oakland, and he got the Boston job. Got it.
He was a bench coach. Yeah, he was bench coach.
I forgot he spent 3 years in Philly too.
Yep, sure did.
I think he did much while I was here.
No.
Let's see. 97. He was 285 and 363 while in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Took over for the great Jim Pagosi.
Right.
And then Larry Bowa succeeded him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking at all this stuff. Don't mind me.
Yep.
I'm cheating. I'm Wakagoo tonight.
Yes, indeed.
But sometimes you have to when you're looking.
Yeah. When you're talking stats, yeah, absolutely.
I was like, you think I know all this off the top of my head? No. I wish I did. People might actually hire me as a sports consultant, but
yeah.
I mean, some people can read all this stuff off the top of their head, and people that can, I give them so much credit.
Yeah. I might know a couple people like that.
I know the stupid facts about the NFL draft.
Yeah.
So what else? I'm trying to think. Well, the Sixers had media day today. I know that. No James Harden.
No.
And then you can cross off them getting Drew Holiday
Mhm.
because he wound up going to Boston.
He went to Boston. Yeah, that's not good news either.
Well, here's what they gave up their top depth guy in Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, who was a good sixth man for him,
Yeah.
and 2 first-round picks.
For Holiday?
Yep.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So, I mean, in a sense, you got to kind of be happy that the Sixers didn't pull a big trigger like that. You still have a disgruntled James Harden floating around.
Yeah.
Gary was saying the Flyers won tonight because they started their preseason so late.
Yeah. Okay.
NASCAR was a photo finish this week in Talladega.
Okay.
And right now in the football game, you have a score of 14-3 Seattle.
Okay.
But the big one.
So pick them for the week.
Well, as of right now, I don't have everybody's results. I have to sit down, hopefully tomorrow, and get 3 weeks worth of them done, so I can get updated standings. But as of right now, you got 11-4, and I'm 10-5. So if Seattle holds on and wins this, we'll have identical records 2 weeks in a row. That is pretty impressive and pretty consistent.
Yeah.
So, I
Pretty impressive, especially with the amount of upsets that went on the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, that is very true. So before we do this week, did you want to talk any college football?
Colorado has been exposed. I hate Notre Dame. Go Canes.
No, I'm not trying to be as smart as when I ask this. Did Miami play this week?
They did not play this week.
Okay, 'cause I didn't see them on any
No.
scoreboard.
They are currently ranked in the AP poll number 17. And they have a date coming up with USC, I believe. UNC. But that's in 2 weeks. This coming week on Saturday, in prime time, they are playing Georgia Tech.
Ooh, that should be a good one.
In Miami.
That should be a big game.
And then after that, they have number 14 UNC.
Yeah.
And then they have Clemson. So they got a challenging stretch coming up.
Yeah. You can say Memphis Tigers, a rebuilding program, but
yeah. And then after that, they got Virginia, NC State. And then November 11th, the big face-off against Florida State. That's currently number 5.
yeah.
And then the week after that against number 25, Louisville. And then the week after that, oh my God, which I guess is a Thanksgiving game, maybe. Boston College.
Ooh.
I will be having nightmares. And I will not watch the broadcast of that game because I am not going to watch the Doug Flutie pass. I refuse.
Well, you know they're going to bring it up, so I don't blame you.
Exactly. So I'm not watching because I don't want to see it again. I've seen it enough for 20 years. I don't need to see it anymore. I see it in my dreams, in my nightmares.
Fair enough.
That Oompa Loompa throw that Hail Mary and some drops in somebody's hands. Doug Flutie.
Well, then I guess
just
you'll
tuned in, Doug Flutie. Go
well, since you had your moment in the spotlight about your Miami team, my Penn State team is also 5-0, number 6 in the country.
Yes.
They had
won their reputation.
Yes. They had a surprisingly tough game on Saturday for the first half. It was 10-10 going into halftime versus Northwestern, and they outscored them 31-3 to finish out the game. Next game is a non-conference game versus the University of Massachusetts, which I will be going back to that in 1 second. Then the following week we go to Ohio State, which is going to be a very tough game because it always is. Then they have Indiana at Maryland. Then they have on 11-11 day a home game versus Michigan. Which, again, Ohio State and Michigan are always Penn State's kryptonite. And they're going to be again this year, too. Much as I hate to say it. Then they have their last home game versus Rutgers on the 18th. And then we finish up in East Lansing on the 24th versus Michigan State, who also plays Penn State usually pretty tough, especially at home.
Yes.
Now,
Go Spartans.
Now we wind back up to the top real quick.
Mm-hmm.
October 14th,
Mm-hmm.
the next home game versus the University of Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is going.
Nice.
I was able to get some pretty good seats at a pretty reasonable price. So I'm making the 3.5-hour truck out to Happy Valley for my first ever Penn State game.
Okay. And as I said, if you think it's a 3.5-hour trip, it's going to take you 3.5 hours just to get from State College to the stadium.
Yeah. Well, my goal is to leave this area around 5-6 o'clock in the morning.
Make sure you leave early enough. That's all I'm saying. Because
I'm hoping to leave around here around 5-6 o'clock, even if I got to sleep on the way.
Yep.
Because I've heard stories. It's going to be nuts, but I am so looking forward to it. And with that being said, I might, haven't decided 100% yet, do what I did last year.
Okay.
Last year I went down to Washington with the fans of Philly for the Eagles and Washington game, the 24-8 game when we destroyed Carson Wentz. I did a pregame show from the parking lot.
Okay.
To show the atmosphere, walk around, show everyone tailgating stuff. I'm hemming and hawing if I want to do it up in Happy Valley.
Mm-hmm.
I know there will be a video from inside the stadium before the game starts, so everyone can see the pregame action, see where I'm sitting in the stadium, stuff like that, and maybe do a postgame show.
Yeah.
So I'm hemming and hawing about doing a live on location show. Or maybe a little road trip show as I'm driving out to. So, I mean, stay tuned for that. With the updates and all that stuff coming, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm leaning towards it because the Washington one was actually a very successful show to do.
Yep. And don't forget the big show before the 49ers game.
Yes, December 3rd at the Ops.
That's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a nice crowd, and we're going to have a tour of the facility. We'll have plenty of fans, crazed fans on hand, so it's going to be a good time.
Yep. And I did take the day off, and it's already been approved.
Awesome.
So we can the game. I think that's a 4:25 kickoff. We'll
Correct.
be partying all day.
Absolutely.
And there's a special thing for that day too. That's going to gross a lot of people out. But I promised somebody I would do it. I got to keep my promise, as bad as it sounds. My belly will be Kelly Green, and I have to do a Kelly Green shuffle. He doesn't watch our shows anymore. We're too good for him now, Mr. Big Time Streamer, Nexus. But a deal is a deal. So December 3rd, Kelly Green shuffle from yours truly.
Okay.
I am scared.
Now I'll circle the calendar even darker.
Nah, man. I'm asking for trouble. I know I am. And that's okay. Because that's why we have fun here on the Biscuit
It's
Show,
just going to be a fun day. Let's just say it's going to be a great day.
I completely agree. Can I reach a piece of paper from here? I cannot. Damn it. I got to get up and get a piece of paper.
A piece of paper that somebody hasn't eaten so far.
Well, he's not allowed in the basement anymore, and
Okay.
we're just gonna leave that there.
Okay.
I don't want to get too close. So let me grab a piece of paper real quick, and we can do week 4.
Okay.
Still 14-3, with about 6.5 minutes left in the third. Tyler Lockett has 4 catches for 54 yards. And then the defense has me 6 sacks. Cool. I think I'm going to win that match.
Who scored the second touchdown?
For Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, it should have been. I will tell you one second. No, a second. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
It was Kenneth Walker III, 1-yard rush.
Okay.
If you have Graham Gano, he has a 55-yard field goal.
Nice.
So let me grab this piece of paper. I'll be right back.
Okay. In the meantime, just want to remind everybody that like, follow, and share. Spread the word. All of our shows during the course of the week here on the Basement Show. Monday night Sports Gladiators, Tuesday night Entertainment Night with Shannon, and Morgan's on break for a little bit, so there'll be somebody filling in with Shannon each week for Tuesdays for a couple. Wednesday night TNT with Mama D and Johnny. Thursday with the Rev Grimm Show, which now has a call-in feature where you can actually call in during the show. You can drop an email to the Rev with any questions you'd like him to discuss or any topics. And that information will also be available during the course of the show as well.
Yep.
And then Friday night, our longest running show on the Basement Show, movie night with Johnny and myself. So that's how the rest of the week plays out. And we're going to take care of our NFL picks for the week and then probably touch a little bit on the Basement League, as depressing as that may be.
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be on.
I have been suffering in Joe Burrow land, who has totally failed me.
My son's girlfriend is starting to watch on Wednesday. She thought it was fun. Good. Tell her to come on back. Anyone is welcome in any one of these shows.
Awesome.
We always appreciate the chat participation and keep us going. Week 5. For scoreboard. Alright. So, we'll start with the Thursday night game. We'll save the Eagles one for last like we always do.
Okay.
With you. Alright. On Thursday night, you have what might be a snooze fest, might be a blowout, might be a little bit of both.
Okay.
The Chicago Bears going to Washington.
Well, I mean, did Chicago play a little better this week? Yes. Are they still a dumpster fire? Yes. Give me the Commandos.
Commandos, okay.
The Commodes. Give me that Washington team.
No, I mean, Chicago's a mess. We all know that.
But it's not Justin Fields, though. I mean, Justin Fields is not playing bad. He's just not being put in good position to win.
No, and that's the problem. He's not. But now it's basically all internal, if you ask me.
I believe you're correct.
Now you're saying to tell Chase Claypool, who's your number 2 wide receiver on that team, to stay home because he's a healthy scratch. But now the report is that he was never told to stay home. No report, but he never did. So something's going on.
Dumpster fire. They got a clean house. Starting with the coach.
Oh yeah, that coach is horrible.
He's
So,
bad.
Nah, Washington's one of those sneaky good teams this year. As much as I hate to say it,
Yeah.
they could make a playoff push.
Well, yeah, they could. I mean, I don't see it being the Giants.
No.
So, I mean, if it seems like they and the Giants kind of switch places this year.
True. And it just makes you think, if they stayed with us as competitive as they did, how can they face how are they going to fare against a team like Dallas?
Good question.
So
Depends on if Dallas makes the mistake again of taking a team lightly.
well, that's the problem with Philly. They've been playing down to the competition again.
Yeah. I got to agree with you there.
All right. Going overseas again for the second straight week, you have Jacksonville playing over there this time versus the Buffalo Bills.
Man, I tell you, it's would be extremely tough to bet against Josh Allen right now the way he's played the last few weeks. As much as I like Jacksonville and the fact that they stayed over there this week because they had 2 weeks in a row playing there in London, I don't think they can hang with Buffalo. I'd take Buffalo all day.
And no, this will not be a Toy Story pixelated game. This is just
darn.
People are actually pretty impressed with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is kind of neat. I mean, it's, as novel as it may be, you got to understand it's only to kind of broaden the audience, just like they used to do the Nickelodeon games and have the slime spraying when they scored a touchdown, where it looked like the slime was spraying out of the end zone. Same basic principle.
I have to agree with you on this one as well because Buffalo's been playing since week 1. Josh Allen's been lights out.
Yeah, and they threw up a 48 this week against Miami.
Yeah,
who traditionally that Miami Buffalo game is normally always a back and forth, and with as good as Miami was supposed to be, they just dismantled them.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis is having a great year. Stephon Diggs, and Josh Allen has just been lights out. So
yeah, I gotta go Buffalo
all day long.
All right, next one on the list we have, if I can find my mouse, that'd be good. The 2-2 Texans going to the 2-2 Atlanta Falcons.
This is actually a tough one, which if you had said in the beginning of the year who would win this, I mean, I think you'd automatically say Atlanta.
Yeah.
But CJ Stroud has been playing some pretty good ball. And you got the tank down there at wide receiver.
Yep.
Atlanta's got Bijan. But Atlanta's also got Desmond Ridder.
Uh-huh.
So I am going to say I'm going to take the Houston Texans in an upset.
Well, I wouldn't say it's really an upset because, like you said,
I don't know who's favored. It's got to be got to be less than 3.
Atlanta -1.
Okay, so it's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go Houston.
I mean, I gotta agree with you. Houston's been playing great. I'm going to throw something amazing at you right now. So, be baffled, be surprised, be you.
Okay.
So, I'll put it up before we end the show too. But as of right now, CJ Stroud has more passing yards than Josh Allen.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
CJ Stroud has thrown for 1,212 yards, 6 touchdowns, and Josh Allen's only thrown for 1,048.
Wow. How about that? I did not realize he had that many yards.
So I'll pull up the stats. Like I said,
I know he's been
good.
playing good, but I didn't know he was playing that good.
So I'm not calling it an upset, but I just think Houston has more firepower right now on offense than Atlanta does. Even though Bijan Robinson is playing pretty good for the first couple games.
And the Texans actually have a decent run defense, which could limit Bijan Robinson from really tearing them up on the ground.
Yep, I agree. So I am taking Houston as well.
Okay.
And this week I will start Nico Collins in my cash league, I promise.
There you go. There you go.
All right. This next one is a laugher. We don't have to really talk about it if you don't want to. The 0-4 Panthers going to the 3-1 Detroit Lions.
Biting kneecaps all the way.
Yeah, that motto's work.
Yeah.
And I think that defense is just going to keep Bryce Young alive.
Yeah, I agree. And Miles Sanders is banged up too. And may not start.
Like, fans in Detroit are actually loving football this year because this team is actually really competitive. And a lot of people have them as the now dark horse in the NFC.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're one of the 6 best teams in the NFC.
Especially after what they did this past week in Green Bay. In Green Bay,
yes. And what a waste of a $14 beer. Dumped on Amon-Ra St. Brown doing a Lambeau leap, which probably was ill-advised.
But he jumped in the Lions fan.
Yeah.
Because it was Lions.
But there was still one Green Bay fan nearby.
Yep. No, you're not wrong. All right. Got another tough one for you.
Okay.
The 2-2 Tennessee Titans, who are 0-2 on the road, going to the 2-2 Indianapolis Colts, who are 0-2 at home.
Okay. I like what Shane Steichen is doing in Indianapolis, and now with Richardson back, I am going to lean towards the Colts in this one. But I like some of what Steichen has brought to that team. And I think that they're outperforming my expectations of what they were going to be at the beginning of the season, even without Jonathan Taylor, who is going to apparently start practicing this week.
Yes. I did read that as well.
So, if by chance he gets involved, then it may be even more so something to watch.
Yeah.
He may still be another week away, but
maybe
just the fact that he's getting back,
his
and
presence.
if he comes to practice.
Yep. Well, here's the first one I'm going to disagree with you on. As much as I like what you're saying, Shane Steichen, Anthony Richardson, all playing well, I think Mike Vrabel has that more experienced core with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, Derrick Henry running the ball. It's going to be a close one.
Yep.
As division games usually tend to always be in the AFC South. But I'm going to give a slight edge to Tennessee just based off experience.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's why I agree every single game. We need different ones once in a while, too.
Yeah.
All right, next one. We have the 1-2, as of now, 1-2, New York Giants going to the 3-1 Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, this is not even worth talking about. I think the Dolphins come back looking for blood.
Do they put up 80 this week?
No, they do not. But I do think that it may be one of these spots where they may be peeking ahead a little bit.
Huh?
So, But I think they just have too much firepower for the Giants to be able to hang with them.
Yeah, I mean, there's not even a point spread on this one. That's the funny part. I mean, but like you said, Miami just has way too much firepower. The defense for the Giants is struggling. The offense has been lackluster to say best. I mean, not even close.
Yep. That might be the laugher of the week.
Possible. I mean, put it to you this way: in 4 games, Tyreek Hill has 470 yards receiving.
Mm-hmm.
That's on pace for almost 2,000 yards.
Yep.
That's insane. All right. The next one we have the 2-2 New Orleans Saints going to 1-3 New England Patriots.
And who's quarterback in the Patriots now?
Well, according to Bill Belichick, it's going to be Mac Jones.
Okay.
21-3 Seahawks. Okay.
I mean, this is that vicious cycle that he's put Mac Jones in before. I trust you. I don't trust you. I trust you. I don't trust you.
Yeah, pretty much.
But he usually rises to the occasion when it happens. And he comes back with a decent performance. So for that reason, I am going to go with New England. It's not a very logical reason, but it's just a gut.
No, hey, sometimes guts pay off. I mean,
yeah,
they both got their asses kicked last week.
Yes.
I will say that. So one team has to rebound. And I'm thinking it's going to be the Saints. I mean, I think Kamara, now being back for a week or well, this is actually, second game. No. Second game back or first game back. I think he's going to find his legs.
Okay.
So I think the Saints squeak it out at the very end, but I'm going to take the Saints.
Okay.
Now, here's the funny thing about this game, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the lowest over-unders of the week. It's 39.5 over-under.
Wow.
So you don't see that very, very often. But the
And
next
believe
game,
it or not, I would take the under.
Well, the next game is actually lower than that.
Okay.
And this is the one that's going to really surprise you.
Okay.
You have the 3-1 Baltimore Ravens going to the 2-2 Pittsburgh Steelers. And that one, the over-under is 38.5.
Because Pittsburgh's offense had been non-existent. I cannot pick Pittsburgh here.
No.
No.
Not the way they've been playing.
No, they've been bad. And this is always an ugly game. It's a very physical game. And I think that they're just going to roll over, play dead.
That is true. I mean, the sad part is in Pittsburgh, too. But
Yep. I don't think that there's no amount of terrible towels that can make this work.
No.
The only thing the terrible towels are going to be for is to soak up the tears of the Pittsburgh fans.
Good pun. And I agree. I mean, just like Baltimore's offense right now is just clicking. Lamar Jackson putting some pretty jaunty numbers up.
Yeah.
Like they've even said this is probably the most pleased he's been since he's coming into the league.
And it's been the least amount of times that he's actually running the ball.
I mean, he already has 41 carries though, so is that true?
Yep.
So I mean, but yeah, I don't see Pittsburgh being able to do much offensively against that defense.
No. Until they can show that they can sustain their running game. I think that these teams are just dropping 8 guys back into coverage, 7 or 8 back into coverage and just daring them.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Pittsburgh should play the Giants. Yeah, I mean, the Giants might actually win a game.
That could actually be end 0-0.
I said that last week about Denver and Chicago, and they put up, 59 points between the two of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Next, we have the 1-3 Joe Burrows going to the 1-3 Arizona Cardinals. Does Joe Burrow get back on track?
I think it may take the Arizona Cardinals to make Joe Burrow well. Yeah, I as much as I admired Arizona's win against Dallas,
yes,
until they can replicate that performance, I can't be a believer. I mean, they played they've been almost in every game.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been like blown out. But yeah, I gotta believe that Burrow's going to get back on track at some point, and this is the perfect spot.
Okay. Let's see it is. I mean, I think both teams put up some daunting numbers because Arizona has some firepower. Cincinnati obviously has the firepower. I see this game being closer than people think. Because right now it's a -3 spread, and I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be a last-second field goal like it was last year when we played in Arizona. But Cincinnati getting the win. I mean, Arizona will play them tough. They've been playing a lot of teams tough. But I just think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have huge games.
Well, side note, Jamar Chase goes for 185 and 2 touchdowns.
Side note written down, and if that's the case, I'd be really happy because I got him in a money league. So,
yep.
If you get that one right, I'm gonna high five you next week. All right. Another lap-over game coming up next week. Sorry if my cousin's still watching. The 1-3 New York Jets going to the 1-3 Denver Broncos, which is going to be a very physical game because of what happened in the preseason.
Yes. Wow. It depends on which Zach Wilson shows up. If the Zach Wilson shows up that was playing on last night, I think that they roll. I'll ride the hot hand. I'm actually going to go with the Jets here. Sorry. I'll apologize in advance to our Denver fan.
Yeah, sure, understand.
But he did look very, very impressive last night.
Yeah.
Throwing all these back shoulder rockets, trusting his receivers, throwing in the tight spots. I mean, making good decisions with the ball, tucking it when he needed to tuck it. He just played an all-around really good game.
Yeah. I mean, again, I feel this game coming down to the very end.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to flip the other side. I think Denver gets 2 in a row.
Okay.
Just the home field advantage, the altitude, comes down to a last-second field goal.
Okay.
But it'll be a very competitive game.
I agree.
All right. Next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs going to face the Minnesota Vikings.
Chiefs redeemed themselves. They dismantled the Vikings. Mahomes was embarrassed with his performance, and he comes out firing.
Not bad theory. I mean, I think Kansas City pulls it out, but I'm still saying Justin Jefferson has over 150 yards receiving.
Okay.
So
I can see that.
Kansas City wins, but Jefferson has another big game.
Okay.
Now, here's something really shocking. I was saying earlier that Tyreek Hill already has 470 yards receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Jefferson in 4 games has 543 yards receiving.
Wow. Okay.
So, scary.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Now we're going to Sunday night. My opinion should be the game of the week.
Okay.
The Dallas Cowboys going to San Fran.
I really hate that I'm picking them to win. But I got to go with the Niners. I mean, I wish they could both lose, but unfortunately, somebody's got to win.
Can I make this one a tie?
Yeah, really, exactly. But I think the Niners are playing some really good ball right now. So I got to believe that they put Dallas in their place.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, the way San Fran's been playing, it'll be as an Eagles fan, it'll be good tape to watch to see what they do against Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an Eagles fan, you're watching this game start to finish all Sunday night.
This is the game where it becomes clear that they miss Stephon Gilmore.
Diggy, you mean?
Yeah.
I just think San Fran has too much offense to.
No, I mean on in the secondary of Dallas.
Yeah, Trayvon
Diggs, who got hurt, who's
Yes.
out for the year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just think the Niners have too much offense.
Yeah.
So I mean,
McCaffrey goes wild.
possible. And then Monday night, you have the Green Bay Packers going to Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas.
Give me the pack. Pack attack. Jordan Love gets back on the horse. Christian Watson has a big game. With Vegas with a questionable secondary right now. I think between Watson and Dobbs that they combine for about 250 in receiving between the two of them.
And I mean, Vegas is another one of those teams they don't really talk about that much, but they're a mess too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of internal, external problems going on. And now Jimmy G's in a protocol for concussions and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I got to go with the Packers as well.
Yep.
All right. And the last one on the docket, we have our 4-0 Philadelphia Eagles going to, I think they're 2-2? Yes, 2-2 LA Rams. Does he stick to his word when he said this was a trap game to start the season?
I did call this a trap game.
You did?
And that's why I'm hesitating right now.
Oh, boy.
But I also thought that we would not be 4-0 at this point of the season. I expected maybe a loss before this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go Birds. I mean, I think that I'm concerned that the fact that we might also have Cooper Kupp in the mix, but he's also could be a little rusty and he's probably not going to be 100%. He's probably not. He's going to get a couple days of practice in, but I still don't think that, it's been well over a year since he played
Okay.
in a real game. So as much as I'm concerned about these young receivers in LA versus our patchwork secondary, I'm going to put my faith in Sean Desai that he'll have it figured out, and I'll take the Birds in a 3-point game.
Okay. Back is asking here, you're playing the LA Rams this week. And if you remember the last time the Eagles played in Los Angeles, it was versus the LA Chargers.
Okay.
And back in 2017. And it was a home game, in a sense.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same way this Sunday. There's going to be a lot of Eagles fans out there rooting for this team.
Agree.
So I think the defense feeds off the home crowd advantage and has a monster game.
Yeah, and they're gonna feel a little sort of way about the way they played this past week, and I think that they dig their heels in, and I think that Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis get after it.
And then here's my bold prediction for the week.
Okay.
Defense has 7 sacks.
7. Wow. Okay. That's a bold one. But okay. And hopefully we don't see a lot of sacks with Aaron Donald staring at us from the other side, and a substitute at left guard.
Yeah. Well, I say 7 sacks, and I think Hassan Reddick has 3 alone.
Nice. I'll take that.
Because they don't have Andrew Whitworth on that blind side anymore.
That's true. I'll take that every day.
So we got some similar, we got some different.
Yep.
I mean, that's what makes this stuff fun. So this is what I was going to pull up real quick. So, complete. Oh, hold on, wait. I got to go back real quick. I forgot.
Okay.
Forgot one thing. There are 4 teams who will have a tie this weekend at 0-0.
Okay.
Browns, Chargers, Seahawks, and Buccaneers are all on byes. The bye weeks have started.
Yes.
Okay. Enough of the shenanigans. So, right now, not counting tonight, even though none of them would be towards the top anyway, that's okay. The leading passer in the NFL right now is Tua with 1,306 yards. So, he leads the league right now with 1,300 yards. Yeah. Highest completion percentage right now goes to Josh Allen after a dismal first game, rocking a 74.8%.
Nice.
And Kirk Cousins leads the league right now in touchdowns with 11.
Mm-hmm.
And who is Mr. Hurts? Mr. Hurts right now has 959 yards passing. He actually 2 yards shy of Sam Howell.
Okay.
So that's passing. Rushing the ball, Christian McCaffrey, you have 459 yards. You want to take a guess who number 2 is, even after a bad game this week?
Would that be DeAndre Swift?
It is 364.
Nice.
He had the 305 yard rushing in 2 games.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see him towards the top. Biggest thing with him, you gotta keep him healthy. And your number 1 receiver right now, you have Justin Jefferson at 504 yards, and a surprise at number 2 in Puka Nacua.
Yep.
501 yards.
Nice.
If that's not a steal, I don't know what is.
Yeah, man.
AJ Brown sits 6th right now with 414. And Devontae is down in number 16 with 284 yards, the same amount of yards as Jamar Chase.
Yeah. Well, based on the fact that Burrow this week threw for all of about 140 yards.
Yep. Crazy, ain't it?
165. 20 completions.
So that's not even 8 yards of completion. 165.
And Puka Nacua had 9 catches for 163 and a touchdown.
Yeah.
9 for 10.
Yeah, Burrow averaged 8.2 yards, but 8.3 yards of completion.
He's still hurt, and they keep on putting him out there. They're killing themselves by doing that, but they don't really have a lot of confidence in the backup.
That is true.
Plus, they don't want to piss off Jamar Chase.
True. Yeah, but three-week high for most sacks already. Josh Allen again. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Josh Allen, 6 sacks already.
Yeah.
TJ Watt and Mac. Interception leaders. Still Jordan Whitehead with the 3 from opening night. Damn, Jesse Bates the 3rd. Could have been in Philly, but nope. He has 3 interceptions as well already.
Yeah.
Damn. So, I mean, I know one thing we didn't do tonight, though. We didn't give any love to a certain somebody before we end the night.
Okay.
I am so happy we have Jake Elliott on our team.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is very close to being the best kicker in Eagles history.
And that was the debate that I heard on WIP this morning.
And, there could be a case made right now based on his current numbers that he is the best. But, David Akers did it here for a lot of years. So
that's true.
Jake keeps on going at this clip. He takes that title, no doubt.
No, I agree. Damn.
He's the closest to automatic that we've had since Akers.
That is very true. You're not lying. Now, would you like to end there, or would you like to do some fantasy real quick?
We could do some fantasy real quick. We got a few minutes, but if anybody wants to touch on anything that's in the chat.
Well, I got 28 points right now on my defense tonight.
Okay.
They have 9 sacks, 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery, and a defensive touchdown.
Okay.
Look at an asshole. Sorry, Chris. I know Chris was looking forward to that. Sam's holding a tight lead right now on Team Miz, 145 to 143. I think Miz still has, he still has Kenneth Walker and John Myers. And Sam's done. So Sam's holding a 2-point edge right now. So that's going to be one of those, nail biter last minute games. What else we have?
We got a really out of Gary.
Yep. Well, probably because we were talking about Elliott being better than Akers.
Oh, okay.
Young Ho's playing with my Hawk, 156. Mean Machine, 124. Vince, out of sight team, going to drop 2 in a row. He's going to lose to Team Cheesing in Wisconsin, 209 to 168. And Doughboy is going to pop the champagne for the league because he is going to beat Jason, 157 to 127.
Wow.
So there will be no undefeated teams in this league this year.
There you
Take
go.
that for a suicide pool.
Yeah.
So if that holds up, What am I standing that? Review. So if that holds up, Jay will be 3-1. I'll be 3-1. Vince will fall to 2-2. Miz just took the lead on Sam, so he's gonna win that one. So he'll be 3-1. Mike's gonna be 3-1. Sam will fall to 1-3. Joe's goes to 2-2. Young Ho will be 2-2. Chris will fall to 1-3. And yeah. You got this, Ron. I believe in you. 12-game winning streak.
It's been a rough year.
For a lot of people, not just you.
Yeah.
I mean,
So we never give up. We'll still be out there trying.
I agree.
See what happens.
Getting pretty tight at the top, though. You figure
Yep.
1, 2, you're gonna have 4 teams, all 3-1.
Yep.
So I mean, that's what makes fantasy football good. I'm surprised none of you guys are in here talking shit. I have to get on them about that, but
yep.
Probably all mad at me. That's okay. But yeah, I mean, that fantasy football you take week by week.
Yep.
And remember, you only have to make the top 6.
Yep. Hey, anything's possible. Like I said,
but
I'm a slow starter. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
well, if you want a quarterback, I got Geno Smith and Kirk Cousins. You can have one of them.
Yeah.
Just give me.
Well, actually, I have.
You got Jared Goff sitting on your bench.
Yes. So I have Jared Goff to put in.
And you're playing Carolina this week. You got
who will probably be starting this week against Carolina. Yeah. So we shall see.
I believe in you, okay?
Yep.
Plus, we're commissioners. We can screw up the standings if we want.
Yeah.
You go 0-16, I'll put you as the number 1 seed. How about that?
Yeah, okay. Let's not do that.
Oh, there'll be a lot of pissed off people, but that's okay.
All right. So anyway, I guess we'll call it a night then.
Sounds like a plan. I gotta go fill out some paperwork.
Yep.
But we had Gary in chat tonight, Jack, Gina on Twitch, if she's still here. Thank you, Gina. Kelsey stopped in, show some love. Amber. Did I miss the chat about the Phillies? You did. They got a tough 3-game series coming up versus the Miami Marlins in the Wildcard round, which starts tomorrow night, I think I said.
Yes, tomorrow night.
8 o'clock. Don't be
Yep.
late.
Zach Wheeler.
Zach Will versus, I forget who was pitching for Miami. But, yeah, 8 o'clock tomorrow night, game 1 of a best of 3. So, go Phillies.
Yep. Let's take care of business, not let it go to 3 games.
Absolutely.
Let's hope the right Aaron Nola shows up at night too.
That's true. Also had Katie Wilson pop in. King Uno is on YouTube a little bit. Yeah. As always, just appreciate everyone popping in, dropping some likes. Entertainment night will be tomorrow night. I think Ryan already went over all of that.
Yep.
So, I do got to tell you one thing before you log off for the night, but I'll tell you after the show.
Okay.
But other than that, thank you for hanging out. We always appreciate it. As Ryan always says, these shows go as far as you guys in the chat take them. And as long as you guys want to keep showing up and helping us out, we'll keep doing shows.
Absolutely. We appreciate you. We appreciate your participation, your knowledge. And I hope you all have a great night. And we'll catch you during the week. Go Birds. Let's get to the magic number this week. A handful.
And don't forget, go Phillies too.
And go Phillies, yes. Tomorrow night, Zach Wheeler. Give me 7 strong out of Zach. And then give me Jeff Hoffman in the 8th. And then give me Jose Alvarado in the 9th. And 1-0. Write it down.
I like the way this man thinks. So, Wheeler 7.
Yep. With 8 strikeouts.
Okay. Hoffman.
Hoffman in the 8th and Alvarado in the 9th. And give me a 5-3 Phillies.
Got it.
Okay. All
There you
right.
go. We'll see if you're right. You have to make a post. You have to make a post on the page if you're right or wrong.
Okay.
But other than that, hope everyone has a good night. And don't forget, tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, entertainment night. Have a good night.
Have a good night.